Hello and welcome to your immediate post-match reaction as Rangers win 1-0 against Hibernian here at Ibrox. I don't know why I've said Hibernian, given them a Sunday name. I've been joined by Hef for this game. Hef, we'll jump right into this. How are you feeling after that one?
Good. I was worried about today. I was quietly cautious all day, thinking this could be a potential banana slip. But when we were talking about it last night, it feels like it was a while ago, but yeah, when we were talking about it last night on a podcast, I had this feeling that this could have... I mean, it's a hard game. We always feel like coming against Hibs, it was going to be a hard game, but yeah, I thought we fought really well. A really tight game in areas, or at least it felt that way because we weren't finishing off chances. But overall, when you actually look back over it, now that we've had a chance to dissect the game with stats and figures rather than just our thoughts and what we feel going through the game, because obviously we're a bit tense, I definitely realised that we dominated for the majority of the game, at least in terms of possession and chances created. So yeah, no, great performance, great result. Maybe a great performance is a bit of a stretch, but good performance and a great result.
Yeah, it was an adequate performance, and I think everyone's the same just now. Who really cares about the performance?
Yeah.
You know, we're all here on a cold night. We're all wanting to be entertained, obviously, but at the end of the day, just win, and they won. So there's not going to be too much complaints here, but we'll go through the game. Quite a bit to get through, but we'll look at the starting lineup straight away. A couple of big exclusions. We heard some whispers about Nico Raskin possibly having an injury and some kind of thigh knock or hamstring injury. We know about Tavernier and his sort of poor form lately, so I don't think anything was shocking in terms of those two being out. But starts for Finlay Curtis, Chermiti coming up front, for Majovski being out. I think we all in the press room saw the lineup, felt a little bit more anxious, a bit more concerned. Where's the goals going to come from? Is that defence going to keep a clean sheet? But how do you think the game started? If we go right back to the beginning, what was your initial thoughts that first, say, 20 odd minutes? Because nothing much happens, but not a lot positive for Rangers in there.
No, I mean, I'm just having a wee glance back, but I felt as if early on Chermiti actually looked as if he was wanting to get on the ball. He was making a few nice runs. He was playing in well. He was holding up the ball. He was taking nice touches in front of the defender, either forcing them to bring him down or inviting other players to join him in attack. I thought that was a real positive.
He was involved in the game, which I think is something that I've been sort of against him quite a lot. I know the goals aren't there, and that's one thing, but if you're not holding the ball, if you're not getting on the ball, that's a totally different problem. He was at least involved early on.
And it's a challenge as well, because for all that we could maybe draw on the negatives of Grant Hanley in terms of his ability to play the ball with his feet, he's a big physical player who, I mean, his job tonight was just to rustle up Chermiti, and I think early on there was a chance where Chermiti's went up, beat him in the air, and then Grant Hanley's just pulled him down with the collar of his shirt, and the ref just doesn't give anything. So I think for that, it just kind of set the tone for what Chermiti was going to be up for the rest of the game. So in the air, not so hot, but I thought when he actually got the ball to his feet, he did look to be a lot more engaged in games than what he has done previously.
Yeah, which wouldn't be hard, but it's factual. The first 15-20 minutes, I think, is mainly about Hibs. They don't create anything too clear-cut. No, nothing that Jack Bilton has to do as such, but they just have all the control. They have all the ball. They have sort of half chances. They have some corners. It felt like Rangers were pretty disjointed. I think a few players, Finlay Curtis didn't know whether it be wide, whether it be central. Mikey was getting into pockets of space, but not then getting the ball. Barron was playing as like the third centre-back, which it just kind of not ruined, but it made the whole midfield, like Diomande against three, at times just wasn't working for quite too long. Their only real chance that I've got down, and your notes are more detailed than mine, but there's the one off the line that Dujon Sterling clears, which I think is the one. His corner comes in, goes over Butland. It's their only real chance of the game, looking back at it. Not much else to shout about, but that's the one scary moment.
Yeah, and I suppose like we're talking about half chances. There's a couple of times where they put balls into the box in good areas, but much like our chances, in that they didn't have someone there to capitalise on it, or in times gone past where they've had the second ball bounce in the box and we've just been there to clear it and mop it up. Something that we've probably not seen an awful lot of Rangers teams of recent, that they're not then taking that chance just to hoof it up the park and take a breather when needed. I enjoyed, and I don't know if I did enjoy it so much in that I liked the fact that there wasn't any sort of consistency with who were the back five. Like you're saying with Barron, he was in as a kind of third centre half,
Yep.
but then that allowed Aarons to go right up, almost like a kind of wide right winger, and then that meant that Sterling or Jigger, it didn't ever seem like any of the back five, if you want to say, had a set position. It just seemed to be that they were like, here's your role for today is just to block out. And Danny Rule had kind of made comment to that in the press conference, was the reason why he had went to a back five was to try and stop that direct play and those balls that were coming over to Bowie.
Yep.
He didn't mention Bowie's name specifically, but obviously you could put two and two together to make that call. But actually, when you look at it, that's exactly what happened. Like, they didn't really get an awful lot of the ball, and when they did, it wasn't in areas of any real threat. So whether it was Jigger that was playing on the kind of right side of the centre half, and then it went to the four, and then the other players were pushing up, it didn't really seem to matter who was there because they all were accountable and they all did well.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a kind of zonal defence covering the spaces. However, what I didn't necessarily like with that formation was then when Aarons was up wide right, I don't really think he was that effective. And we're talking about Mikey Moore, who had a really good game today, but actually I felt for like the first half an hour, I almost could have forgot that he was on the park. He didn't really do an awful lot. It took him a while to get into the game, but when he did and he found those pockets of space, he's so dangerous to have on the pitch. Like, all he has to do is just spin one defender and he's on the front foot. I suppose that the problem with that then is that when you've got a player who's as clever as that, you really need to rely on other players running to create space for him or take players away to create that space, but we just didn't see it. So he didn't really get that chance.
Think about that, you've got someone like Mikey Moore is looking for a run. He's looking for someone to make that attacking move. He's got Chermiti ahead of him who doesn't move.
Yeah.
He's got Aarons who's a right back, so he's not going to have that natural attacking input. And Curtis is the other one who, again, is a very little football. He's still sort of finding his feet in terms of where he should be playing, where he should be standing, when he should be running. Didn't play badly at all, Curtis, so I'm always going to kind of defend him. But you can see that Mikey Moore's looking for someone ahead of him to do something.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't what happened that first half, especially.
No, and I think you're asking a wee bit much of Trinity there, because some of the positions that when Mikey Moore is running in, he's running in from wide into centre. And then from that point, what you've got is, when he's running in from wide into centre, Chermiti's almost standing on the 18-yard box. So you're hoping for him to play a nice, perfectly paced dink pass just over the defender's legs and make sure that he is running at the perfect time to make sure to get that. Now, there's players that are playing in the Champions League that haven't quite mastered that with their striking partners yet. Mikey Moore is the youngest player on the park, and Chermiti's not that much older than him. So to expect that from two players of that age.
A young squad. It was only in the press conference when they mentioned it. I think the average age tonight was 22, and you think that's really young, but Jigger's young. Fernandez is a bit older than that, but he's early 20s. And you look at Moore, Curtis, Chermiti, these are young players. And I think that's a big thing. Like, obviously, tonight we mentioned it right at the start. No Tavernier, no Raskin. Gassama kind of doesn't fall in this category, but guys who have been there, have played plenty of games at Ibrox, in that leadership group that we always talk about. Other than Butland, it was a very inexperienced team tonight who got the job done.
Yeah. And like somebody had posted on Twitter, and I'm not doing this to not give credit, I just can't remember who it was, but somebody had put on saying that's 20 points out of 24 that we've got now, 6 wins out of 8. This is Russell Martin's team. This is the team that
It's Kevin Thelwell's team.
This is Kevin Thelwell's team. This is the team that couldn't win, and we're now winning. Danny Rule has got a lot of credit to take from these results that he's getting. And like we've said, I've said a million times, see if it wasn't for Europe, I'd love to know the momentum that we would have in the squad with these results, because I feel that there's a lot of negativity still around Rangers just now, and a lot of groans from, and rightly so, coming from a place of frustration, because they want us to succeed, they want us to move on. But realistically, we're in a good place considering where we started this league, and Danny Rule doesn't have the DeLorean parked outside. He can't go back and undo the bad of what's been happening before. So I think this is a good place that we're in. And we're in a kind of strange run of fixtures, and that obviously we didn't have a game at the weekend, so we played tonight. But now we've got a decent stretch between now until Sunday for, like he had mentioned, players need to rest, players need the recovery. There's a few players who are got wee niggles, wee tweaks that could probably do with an extra day or two rest and recovery.
Yep.
And another couple of days for him to get his message across to the younger players. Yeah, we had said at the start of this, if playing at the two Edinburgh clubs, if we could get 4 points from the 6, there's 3 taken care of. So I'm
can't believe how defeatist you've been taking a draw on Sunday.
I'm not. I said, given on paper
the
2 games, you're digging me out.
Absolutely. Yes, we will talk about the main moment of the game. Obviously, why we're quite happy here is the goal. It's initially a corner. Just before this, there was the tremendous shot that was out for a throw-in, so that was fun. But leads to a corner. Comes in, comes back out. Dujon Sterling, who again all night was pretty solid, but this is his one attacking moment, which I didn't know if he had this in his locker kind of thing, because you always mention like he's great defensively, but you lose a lot of what Tav used to do going forward if Sterling's playing. But it is a terrific cross, just angled in front of us there, and Fernandez, 8 foot tall, whatever he is, he's going to win that header. Bullets in the top corner. It's a very good goal. I've not seen it back. I'm just going from the one, like seeing it live in front of me. But the game for us anyway needed something like that. Someone just to go, right, here's a good cross. Where's Fernandez? Top corner. Magic. It's
what we've been crying out for, is just have a player who can hit a ball into a dangerous area and hope that we have the players there who can capitalise on it. And it happens, like, for whatever reason, Fernandez finds himself up that stage of the park. And then when Dujon Sterling obviously plays that pass in, you're then in that position where you're looking at a player who, because he's so adept with both his feet, it leaves the defender thinking, where do I show him here? Do I show him inside? Do I show him outside? Then he just whips in the cross. We saw it with Magoma on this left-hand side, probably easier just from where we were sitting. But you could see it all over the park, was that they were just showing players and saying, you've not got a left foot, you've not got a right foot, come in here, go in there. And they don't, because and it's the perfect answer, is just go, see if you want to try and get by me and whip in a ball. Hibs had legs for days today, and they always have, as bags of energy. They can get up and down the park really, really well, cover a lot of area. So when players like Dujon Sterling come in and just go, show me wherever you want, I'll take it on the other foot, or at least
push you out the way.
And it's a really good asset to have. And you almost felt sad that he came off at 60 minutes, but you understand why. Obviously, it's his first game back that he started. We're just getting the minutes in, but immediately we're facing that thing of, right, okay, we're losing Jigger. Whether that's a massive loss or not is...
I think it has become a bit of a loss. These last few games, and I know he still has his moments, but I think he's getting a bit more solid. He's kind of learning, just get rid of it, which is a key trait for a guy who's not great in the ball, is kind of understand that, I think.
Yeah.
And he's been good the last few days. He's not been a world beater. I'm not obviously devastated he's leaving, but I think the people who are clamouring for him to be sent back in January, that conversation's a little bit quieter after these last couple of games. Again, I want better in there. I want a replacement, absolutely, but he's shown there is something there.
It's just competition. It's what we've said before, is even when we look at, say, the John Souttar argument or anything like that, but you want the best players who are available to you to play on the pitch. So for me, I'm worried that Jigga is the best option that we've got in there. However, I don't want to see the second best option played in that position at any given point. So, and I know that sounds like a really easy, simple comment to make, but if Clinton Nsiala isn't in a position where he's able to start games, or at least even play at all. Obviously, he came on tonight, and I didn't think he really did much wrong.
No, it's fine.
I caught a couple of times where he's had to obviously turn his way out of a bad situation, but he did it.
He can do that,
and he can. So then straight away, and also in terms of balance, you've got a left-sided centre half there who it might then mean that Fernandez is a bit more comfortable, because I've yet to see what foot Fernandez is best with. It could be a toss-up. Just get to his head every time and he'll win it. But Just roll of a dice to see what foot he shanks it with up the park. But I thought that the introduction of Dujon Sterling definitely took a bit of pressure off, because his ability just to intercept the ball,
That's incredible.
He just cuts out that pass every single time, and
it's not luck either.
No, he knows exactly where to put himself.
Yeah, he's a very clever defender, and as much as he's powerful, he's dominant. He will push people out the way. Like I say, he can time things properly, and it's just that different level that we don't have someone that does that at all right now. He did have a bit of a scary moment when I thought he gave away a penalty, and I think the whole stadium did. It looks quite blatant. I've obviously not seen it back. It might have been a kind of 50-50 one, but it is given for offside anyway, so a collective sigh of relief around this place. And there was the booking for Fernandes. McGrath's not booked here when he absolutely should have been. And then there was a comment a minute ago that he then gets a booking in the second half. I don't know if he makes that challenge if he's on a booking, obviously, but he definitely got away with one. Into half time, again, 1-0 up. Pretty happy, given not played very well, but we're winning. It's a bit scrappy for the next sort of 20 minutes or so at least in the second half, and most of the game, really. I've got a few drafted notes here about Fernandes slicing one over our own bar when he's trying to clear it. He then has a moment where he's facing Butland and he's got guys, 2 or 3 Hibs players running at him, and he just decides to do a Cruyff turn and then skip past another one and win a foul. It's very good play, but it's terrifying. He's got so much confidence. He's so cool, but I don't think anyone around the stadium has that confidence or calmness watching him.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I think sometimes that just comes down to maybe lack of us seeing that quality, and obviously when you're not seeing him do it successfully all the time, when he does try, your heart's in your mouth. Yep. But
because he had one at Kilmarnock the exact same when Button was going mental at him, but again he just turned away. It is genius in a way. It's very like Van Dijk, like I want to say, but without the I've said it now, but
stretch.
It's what I mean. It's so cool, maybe too cool, because we are going to cut out with it. But for as long as you don't, fair play.
I think it kind of goes back to that thing that Russell Martin had spoke about in his press conferences of saying, what I want the players to do is wait till that last second to make that pass or do that thing. And as a fan, you sit and go, right, that makes sense, because obviously you're wanting to draw out teams and draw out your opponent to then create space in behind. That's all well and good. However, sometimes I feel like the message of try and get the ball out of these dangerous areas, especially when we're 1-0 up and we're trying to see out a win.
Yeah, time and a place.
You just think, right, okay, fair enough. And I think at times as well, fans are screaming for like cross the ball into the box and lose possession. And I don't think that's the answer either. But in the same vein, it's like, I don't want to see the centre halves try and turn the ball inside out and try and beat the press from the attacker. I want them to try and play their way out of it rather than like use their skill to try and get out of it. But equally, I don't want to see us when we get into the final third lash the ball into the box and chase a second goal when we're minutes away from victory. So
yeah, we'll come to that as well.
It's a balance, like, and I know what you're saying about McGrath, but there was a few of them. I think they picked up 3 bookings today, and every one of them was just that kind of cynical foul in the middle of the park. Just, I'll take a booking here and just chop them.
Yeah.
Now, I thought Don Robertson had a pretty poor game today. I know we had spoke about it and said that there wasn't really any major standout, absolute stonewall, horrendous decisions, but a few times, if we're going to be picky, throw-ins were taken 5 and 6 yards away from where they were supposed to be. Free kicks were taken when the one he
doesn't play advantage. In Books the Boy, when I think we're 3-on-2, 3-on-1, and I said he just daft little things, just niggly things that annoy you as a fan. Again, we're not going to get in a refereeing debate because that's a whole podcast in its own, sadly. What does link to that though is Jigger tries to win a penalty. I've not said dive there, but he seems to maybe get fouled and then think, oh, I better go down. And you see his brain go, oh, I better go down. And then he drops. It's a very delayed drop. Again, if there's anyone in the comments that thinks it's a penalty, you'll have seen it better than me. But that was the one thing I think maybe some fans were booing him at the end for in terms of Don Robertson. I didn't think it was a penalty in real time.
No, it's the sort of one that you think, if he maybe stands up and doesn't fall over at that point, could he have been in a better position to actually play in and keep the chance going.
Yep.
We've seen Gassama do it a few weeks ago as well, where he actually did get booked for it. But I would rather that a player had a very definite notion that they had been fouled before they make that move. I thought
be clever about it. Go down when the contacts. Don't wait a second, then drop.
It's almost like that was contact fall.
Yeah.
It needs to be like on contact, and I thought Bowie was actually very clever at that today. For a young striker to show that experienced edge of being like, the minute someone puts pressure on me and touches me, I'm going down. And he won so many fouls today by doing that. And
I like Bowie.
I thought
I like about him. Yeah.
His energy was really good. He pressed us down. He was chasing every ball. He's strong. However, what did they do in terms of actually score any sort of goals or even be in a position to create chances or take any chances? I felt that his overall play off the ball and stuff was really, really good. He had lots of energy. A lot quicker than I thought he was, actually, now seeing him in person a few times. But with regards to his actual goal scoring ability, and that maybe comes from the point of view of how delighted as well we were not to see Boyle start, because another opportunity for another player to use that, because I think if Bowie's having to do a lot of that running and get out to the wing, he's then not as effective, obviously, because he's out there in the box. Whereas I felt like had Boyle maybe been on, then there would have been a better chance for them to create more chances and opportunities with Bowie in the box. So
far from this being a Hibs podcast, but if I was a Hibs fan, I'd be asking, why is Boyle?
I mean, it could have been injured. It could have been injured.
God knows, and who cares, obviously.
Exactly. Good.
Next thing, really, I've got down here is the subs that were made. One name in particular, which I think is going to annoy people. It annoyed me anyway. We have Gassama and Asgard come on for Mikey Moore and Curtis. I think all of us up in the gantry here were kind of asking, why is Cameron not coming on again? It's getting a bit boring, this debate, of course it is. But Asgard again comes on. Wasn't bad. No, didn't do anything terrible. Won a couple of fouls. Nice passes a couple of times, but doesn't really affect the game. Again, what do you make of him and his performance? Is it harsh to pick him out? Is it harsh to single this guy out?
Who, Asgard? No. I don't think he actually came on and did anything particularly bad. I thought the only issue I probably have with him is that for somebody that just comes onto the park, he obviously had a bit more energy about him tonight, but
he had more than Gassama. They both looked tired when they came on.
Gassama just walks about when he's not involved, but when he does get the ball to his feet, he does click in, and he does kind of stand up to the challenge, and he does run, and he obviously gets into that position. He doesn't know he's offside, and he finishes the ball really well.
Yep. It's actually a really good goal, that. Just if we touch on that quickly, it's a great,
just typical.
Great play by Nsiala, great pass by Diamande, which is good weight on it, which is something I'm always critical of Diamande on. He must delay it a couple of seconds. There's a comment there from Andy that there was no replay of that, or the offside goal. Obviously, this game isn't on telly, so it's not going to be the best quality, but I brought up the wrong comment there. There we go. Again, I feel like you know it's offside because he scores it. It's such a nice flowing move. You think, right, 2-0. 10-15 minutes to go, that's this done surely, and then just that offside flag, nice long VAR check just to build suspense to then be offside. Just usual.
I thought to go back to your previous question about Asgard, I wasn't so bothered about the fact that Asgard was coming off as Mikey Moore was coming off the park, because I felt like Mikey Moore was doing well, but then Danny Rowe had mentioned in the press conference to say that he had to take off Mikey Moore because he was worried about...
Yeah, he's just back from a bad injury.
Yeah,
he's not going to play the full game.
And you forget these things when you're in the heat of the game. You go, why are you taking off our best players? And I had said to you about Barron coming off because I thought that he had played really well.
Yep.
He was probably my man of the match today, and I thought that he played really well. But then actually I remembered back when we were defending our corner, I saw the physios lining up ready to come onto the pitch for Barron as he was holding his what maybe was his hamstring, or at least
he does so much running every game. Like it's understandable he's getting because he's not played a lot of football until the last few weeks.
Yeah, and then
all
of a sudden,
shift Thursday, another tough day here. He was everywhere again, as he does. Really good performance, but it takes its toll, obviously.
Yeah, and when you've got a player who's playing that amount of minutes, and like you said, in such a congested period of time, I was a wee bit nervous bringing on. If I'm Raskin and I'm coming on for Barron at 1-0 in such a pivotal position in that middle of the park where Barron's been basically dominating the whole game, obviously he's got a lot stronger mentality than I do, but he needs to come on and hit the ground running. And I thought that Raskin did that really well.
Good,
I mean, he's chanced it. He obviously he catches the Hibs player on the counter and beats the press. He presses him down well and takes the ball off him, and then he gets into that position, sets up Chermiti, and you've kind of got that. Chermiti just hits a kind of a FIFA Street kind of blaster that just could have went anywhere in the world, and it just blasts it right off the keeper. And unfortunately for Chermiti this time, the keeper didn't punch it into the back of the net, but. And unfortunately for me, because I've been bigging him up all week, but I actually thought that had he scored today, I would have been saying that was a great performance by Chermiti all round.
It was okay today. Again, the bar is very low, and I tweeted it out. If a couple of nice touches, a couple of nice flicks, a couple of instances he's held the ball up or won a foul, won a header. That's kind of all you need. I said it, was it last night? Again, losing track of days, but I said last night you don't have to score as a striker to be effective. You just have to be included, be in the game, bring others into it, and he done that all right. I think is maybe enough to comment.
I think he does all right, and like I said to you, had we started Danilo tonight, obviously we could have been wrong in that approach that because he is a bigger guy that then forced Hanley to rise to that physical challenge and basically put himself on Chermiti the whole time, which then allows other players a bit more access and stuff. Totally get all of that. But if Danilo's there, and the most success we had was, like we saw it in the first half, we just kept giving the ball to the centre half from the goal kick. Then Fernandes didn't have anybody to pass it to because Magoma was out so far left that the defender or the opposition team was just blocking off that pass. Chermiti was just in no man's land, going man for man with Hanley, and then there was nobody in the middle of the park to actually play the ball out to. So if we're going to go, when it's like that, we're either going to have to rinse and repeat and pass it back round the back four and then try something else, or in that occasion we need to then go direct. And if you're then having to go direct, Danilo's not got the pace to then go back behind the back four and try and go over the back line. And he's obviously not got the aerial threat to then challenge him in the air. So Chermiti was the only option for tonight, and I actually think he did pretty well. And with regards to his overall play, and I think if he got that chance, and I mean, he hits the ball hard, he hits it on target, the keeper makes a save. Aye, all right. How many times did we see Morelos and players like that just scoff it? Yeah. Aye, and then other chances where, like, a pure powder keg where it was like absolute inch perfect into the bottom corner.
Yep.
I'm not drawing comparisons between Morelos and Chermiti, but what I am saying is like if you get into those positions and just keep hitting just doing the basics, hit the ball on target, eventually
you give yourself a chance.
You're going to give yourself a chance to get a goal. So
there's a few more, because even after that we have Tav corner that Asgard looks like he's about to tap it in, but doesn't. I don't know if that was just me that saw that because no one seemed to comment on it. Diomande misses a one-on-one, like Asama puts him through. Again, the annoying part is that we have a corner in the 91st minute, we whip it into the box and it goes over the box, and then Hibs got him get a corner. We're all terrified, but we see it out.
Yes.
Again, the tweet itself that I sent out said it doesn't matter how you win, just win. We have won.
Yes.
Happy days. It's simple as that.
On to Sunday.
Exactly that. On to Sunday. Sunday's a massive game, obviously. And I know we joked earlier about a draw is not a terrible result there, but it's a right chance to make a statement. I think if Rangers win on Sunday, people take notice and people buy into, like, fully buy into, okay, this squad isn't perfect, but it's a really tough place to go. It's a massive opportunity for some of these guys. A chance for someone to step up, whether it's a Chermiti, whether Majovski's back. Gassam obviously showed tonight he can find the back of the net if given the chance. It's a chance for someone to do something. As basic as that sounds, it's exactly what it is.
No, I'm looking forward to Sunday. I'm hoping that the players can take a bit of confidence in that performance tonight and go on and say that they do have a bit more confidence in the back line, and then that makes the attackers have a bit more confidence going forward, knowing that they can rely on those behind them to capitalise and make sure that they can get the job. Everybody on the park needs to be as one, and the first time when we played Hearts, obviously here, we were a team that was in disrepair. Like it was so disjointed.
I got cheated that day, just to call that out.
Yeah, I know, but
I know what I mean. Yes, we were a far cry from what we've started to see signs of. We're not perfect, far from it, but there's signs of this. Another clean sheet. Again, the form continues. Good win tonight against a very decent team, a team that can hurt you, and it's a team that haven't scored against us this season, which is a bit mental looking back. But we'll wrap up there because we are freezing. Very quiet Ibrox, but a very happy Ibrox, which we've not said too often this season. We'll be back later this week to preview that game in a bit more detail. Again, back over the weekend to cover how things go. So make sure you're subscribing, make sure you're liking the videos, all that stuff that I say every end of video. But thanks for joining us here, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.